This is terrible. Welcome to Ranger Reviews, a web series where we look at episodes of the TV show Power Rangers and then discuss them. Today we're exploring the 9th episode of the show Power Rangers in Space, as well as a 259th episode overall titled The Craterite Invasion. We begin this episode in a soccer field where Carlos and Cassie are helping at a soccer game, and some kid is explaining how he got bit by some bear. His name is Patrick, and he shows the big bite on his arm from the bear, and his mom comes up and just totally wipes the professional art off of his arm, blowing his story to pieces. The kids make fun of him for being such a liar while Carlos and Cassie say goodbye. At Patrick's home, his mom tells him not to cry wolf, and then a police officer goes by and he starts to tell the cop about how he saw a bank being robbed down the road, but of course the cop doesn't believe him. This kid has like a serious issue. On the megaship, TJ and Carlos are loading the Craterite simulation, getting ready to do some Japanese footage fighting. Cassie and Carlos return and Andros is collecting storm data, which then gets the megaship hit by lightning. Deca then warns that a security thing has failed, and TJ and Ashley are rocking back and forth when the simulation just disappears, and the Craterites are actually still around them. The others see what's going on from the bridge and they run to the elevator. There's now a ton of Craterites just pouring out of the room, and they run away. The Rangers meet up and they're confused how this is happening. Deca says that they're all escaping via the cargo bay, and the Rangers see them just as they leave. And we see a totally silent clip of them parachuting down to Earth. Like, there's no audio here and it's weird. At night elsewhere, Bulk and the Professor have devices on their ears, able to hear whatever, but they can't hear anything, so they ask Skull to turn it up, which hurts them. Phenomenus then sees something and he screams, "Invasion!" And Bulk sees the same clip as before, which makes no sense because it's different times of day. Patrick wakes up at home because for some reason we're supposed to care about this little asshole. He looks outside and he sees a lot of people walking around in the street, and for some reason this scares him back into bed. Okay. In the morning, Patrick wakes up to his mom, who says that Mrs. Jenkins next door is taking him to school this morning. Then she leaves. The Rangers leave the megaship, taking their galaxy gliders to Earth. They then walk around looking for the Craterites, and TJ says they need to split up and find them. Patrick is leaving his house with his stuff, walking over to his neighbor's house. He knocks on the door, but no one is answering. He puts his stuff down and he walks over to the window, where he sees 3 Craterites acting as a family. Why? Like, seriously, why would they do that? Then he runs down and everyone is a Craterite, just acting as like a normal person though. Like, this isn't really how any of this would go. Patrick finds the police officer from before and he starts telling him the story, but then he sees that his reflection is a Craterite. So they're body snatching? Yes, we see the real officer in the back of his car. Okay. TJ literally just said that they're programmed to fight the Power Rangers and that's it. Patrick finds the other kids and tells them about the aliens, and of course they don't believe him. They laugh and walk away as he goes to sulk. Meanwhile, Phenomenus and gang are looking for the Craterites as well. Cassie's walking around using her tracker and she starts getting a signal. She sees Carlos and they haven't found anything yet. She then sees Patrick signaling for Carlos to come over. They ask him what's wrong and Patrick says that they won't believe him. Cassie tells him that since he's such a goddamn liar that maybe he should just not be one. Cassie says they'll walk him home and Patrick is like, okay with this? Okay. They get there and Patrick opens the door and he asks them to stay with him until his mom gets home. And Cassie and Carlos commit child endangerment by saying no, and Carlos tells them to just count on the Power Rangers. Bitch, what? They leave. Andros, Ashley, and TJ are together, and Ashley thinks that maybe the Craterites left Angel Grove, but Andros disagrees. Andros and TJ walk away, and Carlos sees a construction worker acting suspicious, and then she hears someone struggling. She goes over to the van to find the same construction worker there, bound and gagged, and she asks him who did this to him. Bitch, he's gagged. Andros and TJ come over, and they realize that this guy is a double. And then they do some hand motions to turn into Craterites. Andros says, of course, they took human form. Well, it would have been nice if someone had established that this was a thing that they could have done. They call Cassie, but I'm not sure that they actually said anything. Let's rock it. Then all 5 Rangers are morphed together, so I guess we didn't just see it. Everyone poses up a storm before they come down, taking on the Craterites. This is actually a really cool fight, and it's almost saving this entire episode. Alpha calls, saying that there's more at the beach. The Rangers get over there and they start fighting them off. It's almost like there's a ton of patroller fights that we've been skipping this entire season thus far that we can now burn through. Cassie and Carlos then figure out this is probably what was freaking out Patrick. Who the fuck cares? Then there's a huge army of Craterites talking to one big one with a black head. The Rangers then get Patrick for some reason and they run into the officer who is obviously a Craterite, but like Andros says that it's okay, it's just an officer. This stupid bitch. They then run into Patrick's mom, and Patrick gets into the car leaving. What if Patrick's mom was a craterite? Then it's just Andros and Cassie in a forest getting surrounded by the craterites. What the hell happened to the other three? Andros gets held back, but Cassie gets them with a satellite stunner, and Cassie says the others are on their way. Where are they? Then here come the others in the tank. Bitch, where did they go? Then here comes the leader, firing at them, hitting them back, and then using lasers as he grips their throats, tossing them back down. They're saved by the other three who show up. Carlos gives the spiral saber to Andros, why did he have that, saying that Alpha redid something to make it work against the craterites. And he says, as long as they didn't mutate, this will work. Girl, why would you even think that? He uses it and it kind of works, but then the craterites hug, turning into a giant craterite that's still clearly made of little craterites. It's kind of gross and I don't know why. The Rangers call out their Astro Megazord and they seriously punch a goddamn hole through the giant craterite, which then just fills itself back in. Seriously, it's gross. They then use the Astro Megazord blaster with the data from Alpha, and it's starting to hit rogue craterites off of it. Ashley then says to take out the leader, and they have to think of how. Apparently, he's just on the chest. Andros locks onto it, firing the Astro Megazord blaster, hitting that one tiny little dude, and somehow that kills everyone, I guess? I don't even know. At the surf spot, the Rangers and Patrick are hanging out because these teens just love hanging out with little children. An officer shows up, and Patrick talks about how he learned his lesson about telling lies. I guess, I don't know that he did. Bulk and Skull then come in with a device from Phenomenus, and they have the device to reveal the identities of the aliens. But they just make their clothes disappear, kind of. What? Adele then makes a stripper joke. Seriously. Okay, bye, the end. This episode's rough, but I kind of like the concept. I mean, if this episode didn't have Patrick in it at all, it'd be great. But unfortunately, it heavily features this terrible child actor who feels like might have been waiting for ice cream after he got through the day of shooting so that he could just like get ice cream, you know what I mean? It was a pretty boring episode with some cool fights, but man, it really struggles to make any sense whatsoever. And it really feels like we're just, again, severely treading water until something else can happen in this show. Will next time get any better? One thing is for sure, it's another Cassie episode. Yeah, already, seriously. Until then, may the power protect you.